Back over to Robert, and Robert, from a radar perspective, it's still a very healthy looking hurricane, especially on that side that's beginning to approach us. It's taken forever, but it looks like now some of that steadier rain may finally be starting to work its way into Horry County.
Yeah, so kind of the front side here of the storm looking pretty healthy at this point. I'll say a lot of the models are picking up on the front side, staying strong for a few hours. This may start to weaken later today, and then we'll watch another rain band develop on the back side of the storm, and that may be the one that brings us the heavy rain, the flooding rain. So that may hold off until a little bit later. I think the strongest winds, though, will likely be in this section. This is the same section that brought a wind gust to 105 miles per hour in Wilmington. Now, again, 87. As this continues to kind of make its way slowly to the west with a little bit of a southerly component, once we get into this little shield here of rain is when the wind gusts will start to ramp up. Notice just offshore, gusting 65 to 70 miles per hour, sitting at 40 in North Myrtle Beach, but we'll likely see that number pushing towards 50 here over the next 30 to 45 minutes. You're starting to see some of that rain now up and down Highway 9, North Myrtle Beach, Little River, up towards Longs, even Loris. You see where the returns here are turning into the yellow and orange. The stronger the rain, the better chance it has of directing the strong winds that are a couple thousand feet up. They're howling 4,000 to 5,000 feet up, but it needs something to direct them down for you to get those strong wind gusts, and this is what will do it. That's why they've had the stronger wind gusts in North Carolina, and as the storm again slowly makes it our way, we'll watch our wind gusts begin to increase. And future radar is picking up on that as we head through 9 to 10 a.m. Notice we're starting to see some gusts up into the 60s. As we head through lunchtime, it's more of the same. The center of the storm still, even by lunchtime, likely still in North Carolina. It's moving extremely slow. It does eventually try to make its way into South Carolina, but that's likely not until this afternoon, 5 to 6 o'clock. And until then, we'll be on the front side of the storm and will likely continue with those stronger wind gusts. I mentioned now the front side may weaken at least the rain. Notice by 5 o'clock, we're not seeing as many of the yellows and oranges on the front side of the storm. So the rain maybe not as intense as we head through the afternoon, but notice what is developing here on the backside, a very strong feeder band, and the winds are blowing out of the south. So this is pulling in all that tropical moisture off the Atlantic. And we've been mentioning the big rainfall totals that they could see in North Carolina. It'll be that band that provides them. As this storm begins to push to the south and west, it may stall out a bit at times, and whoever gets stuck underneath that rain band will likely see some rainfall totals over 20 inches, and there's still some question marks how far south that gets through the weekend. If it manages to set up farther south, we may see our rain totals increase. If it manages to stay just to our north, our rain totals may be a little bit lower. So there's still a couple of things we're kind of fine-tuning in the forecast, but at least through the remainder of today, there will be heavy rain at times and those wind gusts, hurricane strength, tropical storm strength inland. We'll likely keep at least tropical storm strength wind gust all the way through the weekend. Forecast track, well, it's right on target right now, slowly moving to the west. There's that little bit of a southerly component. It does continue to weaken now that it has made landfall, but those wind gusts still significant all the way through Saturday afternoon. This is 2 o'clock on Saturday. It's just south of Florence. And then the core of the storm begins to kick off to our west as we head into early Sunday morning. As I mentioned, though, on the backside of that storm is where that big feeder band will begin to develop. So we're going to watch and see how that moves along as the storm begins to push to the west. We'll likely tap into some of that very heavy rain. So for that reason, still thinking some areas are going to see that 10 to 15 inch, but locally higher amounts. And notice where that's kind of focused right now. That's still up towards Wilmington to the border here, South Carolina and North Carolina, but that's subject to change depending on how it all kind of plays out here over the next 48 hours. The surge threat, as we mentioned, it's all kind of getting pushed out right now. These strong wind gusts are moving offshore, so it's not pulling the water back in. But as we head through Saturday, the winds begin to change from the south, and notice what that does. It kind of directs all the water back in, especially up here towards North Myrtle Beach, Little River, pushes it into the inlets, and we'll likely see the water rises for high tide running 4-5 feet above normal as we head towards Saturday afternoon and continuing into Sunday. Tornado potential is certainly there. Not so much today. You want to be on the north side and east side if you're looking for that potential, because this is where the conditions are the most favorable. So as the storm Saturday afternoon begins to kick off to our west, then we get into that area. As those feeder bands are moving in, you get these quick spin-up tornadoes that are hard to detect. In fact, a lot of times, by the time you see them on radar, they've already spun up and spun back down. But that's something we'll need to watch as we make our way through the weekend. Again, right now we're focused on the rain starting to move in and the wind gusts beginning to increase here over the next couple of hours.